Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest edition of our entertainment show, where we look at upcoming TV series and movies debuting here in Ireland this upcoming month. And up for discussion this month is the critically acclaimed The Wilds. Season 2, after a very successful Season 1, is debuted only just a matter of nearly 10 days ago now at this stage, really. Its first episode on May the 6th of Season 2, The Wilds, and I'm delighted to be joined by one of the stars of the show, Rachel Edwards. She appears in all of Season 1 and in all of Season 2. She plays the character Rachel Reid, an elite athlete in her time that finds herself lost due to a plane crash on a deserted island in terms of that. And Rain, just in terms of the premise of The Wilds, in terms of Season 1, we got to see this group of young sort of teenage girls plucked from societies and the norms of everyday life, thrown into this sort of this island on their own, and sort of survival of the fittest, and trying to starve off craziness and all the sort of emotions that goes through the fear cycle of being thrown adrift, really.
Yeah, it's a really, really crazy concept and show.
And did you feel when you saw the plot and the concept, did you think back to maybe old TV series like The Lost and everything like that, with the plane crash in Australia and sort of stuff like that? What were your sort of premises when you saw the scripts from week to week in terms of the storyline of what might be told? Or had you a fair idea when you signed on what was going to be ahead for you in terms of Season 1?
Well, when I signed on, we knew that it was going to be like this social experiment and type situation. So it is kind of a little bit different than like Lost and everything like that. But my mom loved Lost, so I knew a lot about just like the survival shows and what that kind of looks like. But we actually shot the pilot a year before we shot the rest of the season. So we only had this little glimpse into what it was going to be. And then when we got back to shoot the full season, we were still kind of figuring it out as we went along.
And those sort of flashbacks, which are unique to sort of Season 1, where we get the sort of the deep delve into the character sort of a background while they're on the sort of island as such, is that sort of something that she had much input in terms of your own characters, in terms of their backline or backstory? When you heard the backstory for Rachel being this elite athlete that has taken these measures to succeed but is hiding something, it seems like everyone in this sort of show is hiding some sort of anomaly.
Yeah, I didn't have much say in terms of like what they were gonna like do with her overall, but it was really cool that after we shot the pilot, Sarah Stryker, the creator of the show, wanted us to kind of come together and listen to our ideas of where we thought our characters could go and different things like that. And I remember one of the things that I had mentioned that I thought was just so crazy was with divers, majority of the time they don't hit their head on that board, but there's always the possibility of them actually hitting their head when they're doing these flips and things. And I had spoken with a professional diver, one that was actually my stunt double, and I asked her if they're like if it happened often, and she was like, no, it doesn't, but it has happened before and it's pretty scary. And I kind of mentioned that to Sarah Stryker, and then that kind of got put in my story, so that was pretty cool.
And I suppose, Rain, in terms of The Wild Season 2, we're sort of seeing this girls cohort in terms of bonding sort of together, in terms of the different struggles of what teenage girls go through in terms of emotions, and the sort of bitterness and the sort of love interest and the bitchiness and the sort of stuff that goes on. But the start of Season 2 now has thrown that whole concept into adrift, really, because we discovered that there's actually an island full of guys who are actually experiencing the whole sort of same scenarios across the water, just adrift from you. So in terms of that sort of concept, were you sort of aware in that sort of direction that they were going to take in the terms of starters Season 2, and how much interaction had you with these sort of cast members that have come on board now in terms of Season 2?
We did not know that there was going to be a boys island until the end of season 1.
Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. And we had no idea who they were going to go with or anything. I actually met the boys, majority of the boys, on the plane ride from LA to Australia. So yeah, we didn't have much knowledge of it until the end of season 1.
Okay. And Rain, in terms of season 2 now, in terms of your own character, what sort of emotional sort of stories in terms of her journey through this season is going to be, say, uncovered or unwind without giving too much away? But what is she in for, a roller coaster of a year ahead?
No, yeah, she's definitely in for a roller coaster. She has ups and downs and funny moments and really sad moments. She's dealing with trauma and just trying to come into her own person.
And Rain, just a quick flashback maybe to the original origins of the Wilds. How did this opportunity come about for you? Was it by chance, or was it by the traditional audition role where a talent agent and a talent actor brought the script to your attention, and you sort of liked what you saw, and and then you went to audition for it? Was that the case, or were you sought out for the role?
Yeah, traditional case of the matter. My manager got the breakdown of it, sent it over to me. I looked at it, I loved it, and went on a few auditions for it. I was actually the first one cast in the show, so it was pretty cool.
Okay. And in terms of the shooting for season 1 and obviously with season 2, were we talking about, you mentioned the first episode and then maybe gapped into the rest of the sort of filming? When the filming did commence, was it very closed in terms of, was it maybe you were there for 5 months maybe filming the season 1, or did you have a guarantee when season 1 was over that there would be a season 2, or was it depending on ratings or TV viewings or stuff like that, or did you go full shoot bang from season 1 straight into season 2?
No, so we basically did the pilot 2018 and then shot the show a year later in 2019 into 2020, and then and we were there in New Zealand for 6 months, and then COVID hit, and so there was like a pause on like the release and everything like that. But we didn't know that we were going to have season 2 until a week after season 1 had aired. So it does kind of depend on like the ratings, I guess, of it all. Yeah.
And what was that like for you, I suppose, as an American actress, moving to New Zealand for 6 months and sort of filming there and sort of living that sort of lifestyle over New Zealand? And then obviously with COVID and everything, did you go back home again, or did you stay out in New Zealand until the production was finished?
I stayed out in New Zealand until that production was finished for season 1. Same thing in Australia for season 2. So it was definitely different, but I loved it. I loved like going and living in a different country. You get to experience life in a different way, learn things about yourself. So I mean, I've always loved to travel, but it just makes me want to travel even more.
And Rain, in terms of season 2 now, is there does it finish on a cliffhanger, or is there everything resolved towards the end of season 2, or is there a few doors left open in terms of a possibility of a season 3, or is every door fully closed?
Oh no, we always got to leave it off on a cliffhanger. There's definitely a cliffhanger at the end of season 2, and I hope everybody loves it, and I'm excited. It leaves a great world of story for season 3.
Okay. And Rain, for yourself, I know you're a talented musician as well in terms of singing. And in terms of the upcoming year, obviously, COVID is now thankfully behind us. Is it a busy time for you? Are you pursuing other acting shows on the pipeline, or movies, or is it a busy time, or is the music the foremost of your attention at the moment?
It's a bit of a mixture. Obviously, the press for the Wilds, and then I'm also working on another show right now. So I'm doing acting still, obviously, but I'm fitting music in when I can and just recording some stuff when I can, and then, see what happens. But yeah, I have movie that'll be coming out. I just filmed with Bill Burr and Bobby Cannavale and Bokeem Woodbine called Old Dads. There's a movie called Love You Anyway that I filmed in 2020 and they're trying to get out. So hopefully that comes out soon this year. And then I'm doing some other stuff I can't say right now, but I'm really excited.
Okay. And Rain, you mentioned of being to Australia and New Zealand, I suppose, the other side of the world. Have you ever ventured across the pond, as the saying goes, and touched down on our shores here in Ireland in the past? Or is it something in the bucket list that now that COVID is over?
It's a list. I want to go so bad. I actually almost ended up going, but ended up not being able to. But yeah, my makeup artist on The Wilds is Irish, and so she was telling me all about Ireland. I want to go so badly, so I'm going to be there one day.
You're going to be there one day. And Rain, before we let you go now, we might turn it over to you now for the final 30 seconds. You might enlighten all our audience why they should tune in. Obviously, it's a Channel Prime video, and obviously the first episode of season 2 of The Wild has aired. What you might enlighten them why they should stay in tuned and what's in store for them, and without giving too much away, but maybe give them some sort of hook to sort of cling on to.
If you want a lot of jaw-dropping moments that you would never expect, then watch The Wilds. That's what I would say.
Watch The Wilds. Short, snazzy, and sweet to the point. Rain Edwards, an absolute pleasure talking to you on the airwaves there today as we look ahead on the joyful anticipation of The Wild Season 2 premiering at the moment on Channel Prime Video here in Ireland. Rain Edwards, if you don't know already, she's appearing in 18 episodes of The Wild. She was a primary character, one of the main characters in season 1, and obviously in season 2. She plays the character Rachel Reid. Do check her out, and hopefully, please God, Rain, we'll get you on again sometime in the near future. But for the moment, God bless, take care, and stay safe.
Thank you, likewise.